Welcome to our video on psychoactive drugs, specifically depressants. It's created by Gracie Basinger and Kimberly Hardy. So first off, I'm just going to start explaining about psychoactive drugs and what they are. So psychoactive drugs act on the central nervous system and alter its normal everyday activity, causing changes in mood, awareness, and behavior. Psychoactive drugs disrupt the communication between neurons, brain cells, so abusing them can have serious short-term and long-term effects on the brain. Psychoactive drugs include 4 groups of drugs: depressants like alcohol and sleeping pills, stimulants like nicotine and ecstasy, opioids like heroin and pain medications, and hallucinogens like LSD. And as you can see on our first slide, we have the little caution because psychoactive drugs alter your brain, and that's not good for you. So now I'm going to dive in a little bit to what are depressants. So referring back to the psychology textbook, depressants are drugs such as alcohol, barbiturates, tranquilizers, and opiates that calm neural activity and slow bodily functions. Specifically, it affects the central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord, which reduces a person's alertness and also slows down functions such as breathing and heart rate. Examples of depressants are alcohol, heroin, cannabis, the prescription drug group of benzodiazepines, and other prescription tranquilizers. So on this slide, you can see that we have a little image of a guy, and there's the side of the depressants and the stimulants, and then our little beer mascot guy over there. So as I mentioned previously, there's different types of depressants like alcohol, opiates such as heroin and morphine, cannabis, sedatives such as Valium, and some glues, petrols, and other solvents. So now I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with each depressant. And first we have alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant that causes short and long-term problems. Depending on the person who is consuming alcohol, there are many various effects of alcohol, including short-term change in mood, behavior, and trouble with coordination. In long-term, deterioration of the liver, heart damage, pancreas damage, and many other effects. And now on to opiates and opioids. Opioids are a drug derived from opium, originally from the poppy seed, and was used to relieve pain. This drug is usually abused. The difference between opiates and opioids is that opiates are natural and opioids include opiates and or synthetic. An example of an opiate is heroin. It causes a rush of endorphins and relief from pain, but the consequences are very severe, causing depression and agonizing withdrawals. So on this slide, we have a really good representation of probably how most people feel if they have ever been addicted to opioids or opiates, because most people who have ever used them are never able to stop the use of them. So now on to cannabis, also known as marijuana, which is a slang term for portions of the cannabis plant. It is one of the oldest psychoactive substances used by man. There are hundreds of compounds in marijuana. However, it is believed that the drug's psychoactive effects is THC. THC binds to cannabinoid receptors throughout the body, and marijuana's high comes from THC binding to brain's regions responsible for pleasure, time perception, and pain. The binding then causes stimulation of dopamine. Symptoms occur after consumption. Marijuana can be eaten raw, brewed in tea, smoked, or vaped through using an e-cigarette. Research and studies are still underway on the long-term effects of cannabis use. So now on to sedatives. Sedatives are a prescription medication that slows your brain activity that usually causes you to feel more relaxed. Examples include benzodiazepines, barbiturates, hypnotics, opioids, narcotics, and Valium. Furthermore, Valium is used to treat anxiety, alcohol withdrawal, muscle spasms, and seizures. For our last slide, we have the consequences of overdosing on depressants. If you take different types of depressants at the same time, you will most likely overdose or OD. So, if you're using depressant drugs, the safest way to do so is to stick to one type of drug. Large amounts of depressants can make you pass out, stop your breathing, make you feel nauseous, and make you vomit. But remember, if you're ever having trouble breathing, please call 911. Thank you for watching our video, and I hope you liked our information about psychoactive drugs, specifically depressants.